Welcome to episode 87 in our series on duties of the heart by Rabbi Bachya Ibn Pakuda. And in the last episode we completed the third chapter of the Gate of Self-Accounting. And this chapter was monumental in its content. It described 30 ways of self-accounting. And really, if you look at that chapter in whole, it was actually like a summarized version of the whole book. You could probably get a decent overview by just studying that one chapter. If someone was pushed for time and they needed to have a reasonable summary of the whole book, they could read chapter 3 of the Gate of Self-Accounting. And now we've just come out of that experience, and Rabbi Bahya is going to teach us how to use those 30 profound examples of self-accounting, and why these are so important to revise, to look back upon them and refresh yourself, because you change. All of us, we don't stay the same. We think we are kind of static, or rather we manage to maintain equilibrium, but a lot of the time, you can go up levels of understanding, and then these words mean different things to you. So he will urge us to effect revision with this chapter, so as to give you a good level of understanding. So we're up to chapter 4 now, and Rabbi Bahya begins. The benefit in this accounting is the effect produced in the soul when it becomes certain of what we discussed in the 30 ways of accounting, has understood their themes and forms, and has recognized their true obligatory character, and is willing to undertake them in keeping with its grasp of them and steady reflection upon them. For then, my brother, an effect profound and exalted is produced in your soul. As a result of this effect, you will acquire all virtues and attain all precious qualities. This effect is the purity of the soul's substance from the shadow of ignorance, purity that dispels the darkness of doubt that is in your heart. You are aware that the validity and profundity of a conclusion are in proportion to the validity, number, and logical order of the premises from which the conclusion is derived. Likewise, the composition of medicines in the art of medicine, the value and potency of the medicine are in proportion to the potency of the drugs in which the medicine is composed. So too in the science of geometry, the more lemmas preceding a given theorem, the more significant is that theorem and the more beneficial it is to know it. So it is with many mechanical devices. A balance cannot be constructed without prior knowledge of geometry and the nature of numbers and weights. Similarly, an astrolabe, an instrument once used to calculate the position of celestial bodies, cannot be constructed without prior knowledge of the science of geometry, conical forms, and the movement of the spheres and the measurement of the globe. The same is true of what is required of the soul. You can attain it, my brother, only after you have patiently undertaken the self-accounting to which I have alerted you in this gate as well as in other gates, and after you have practiced it persistently. For when you have done this faithfully and sincerely, your mind will be illumined, and you will see the way to all the high virtues. The evil inclination will have no way of reaching and misleading you. You will be on the level of God's chosen elite, and there will rise in you an extraordinary supernal power, unlike anything you have ever experienced. As King Solomon said in Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 1, a man's wisdom lights up his face, and the hardness of his countenance is changed. So Rabbi Bahya is beginning to tell us that the culmination of real processing of these 30 ways of self-accounting, and practice of these 30 ways, and mastery of these 30 ways will bring you so close to God that you will be amongst his, as he quotes, the level of God's chosen elites. And inside you, a physical feeling, you'll be able to feel this, the neshama, your neshama, kind of firing up. and giving you guidance in your life. And he continues, you will then perceive the lofty things and see the deep mysteries by virtue of the clarity of your soul, the purity of your heart, and the strength of your sincerity. You will never leave a state of constant joy in your world here and in your life hereafter because of the greatness of what you have gazed upon and the grandeur of the mystery that has been revealed to you with God's help that is extended to you. So Rabbi Bahya is really giving us something to strive towards, this state of constant joy, as he says, this clarity of your soul through the purity of your heart and the strength of your sincerity. So Rabbi Bahya is telling us, put the work in, and God will reveal things to you that mere mortal very rarely would get the opportunity to understand, and he'll also give you that understanding. So every day, so now your mind is like a perfect kind of tool to have complete understanding of various situations. It's almost as if now you have a new level of understanding. And everything kind of opens up to the truth, the essence of what it is. And now Rabbi Bahya is going to continue with a fantastic parable. And he continues, I think it fitting to present you with a simple parable which will illustrate part of what I have mentioned to you. This is the parable. Imagine that you are in a certain place. Above this place, on the side behind you, there is a form, and there is no way that you can see it with your eyes or observe it with your sense of sight. Someone then tells you that if you were to make a plate of wrought iron, smooth it till its dullness disappears, polish it for a long time with many polishing agents, and then place it in front of yourself, the reflection of the lofty form that had been hidden from you would become visible to you, and you would be able to see it and enjoy its grace and radiant beauty. Now, the lofty and eminent form, which you cannot see with your eyes, is the wisdom of the Creator, may He be exalted, His power, and the beauty of the supernal world whose form and character are hidden from us. The wrought iron plate is the human soul. The polishing of the plate represents the training of the soul in fields of knowledge and moral instructions, those known from reason and from the Torah. The polishing agents are the 30 ways of accounting that I have mentioned to you. When you meditate on them and reflect regularly on them, your soul will be purified, your mind will be illumined, and you will apprehend in your soul every mystery. You will see with open eyes profound forms. The gate of virtues will be opened for you, and the veil that interposes between you and the Creator's wisdom will be removed from over your eyes. God, may He be exalted, will teach you sublime wisdom and effective action, and He will give you divine power. As it says in Yeshayahu chapter 11 verse 2, God's Spirit will rest upon him, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of insight and courage, a spirit of knowledge and awe of God. And also he quotes from Job 32 verse 8, but truly wisdom is a spirit in man. It is the breath of the Almighty that makes him understand. And also from Proverbs chapter 2 verses 4, if you seek it like silver and search for it like hidden treasure, then you will grasp what awe of Hashem is and find knowledge of God. So that completes the 4th chapter, and what a bounty to strive towards. People, we all think that the great prophets and the great figures that were close to God in our history were one-offs. But Rabbi Bahya is telling us, giving us the formula of how to be one of these, to cleave to God, to be close to God, to be under God's hand, under God's personal providence. Although we all are, this is more like a guidance, being taught. He tells you, you'll be taught by God itself. And what a thing to do. And how do you do this? By the polishing agents of this kind of mirror or sort of screen to clear are these 30 ways of accounting. And if you, like he says, you meditate on them, reflect regularly, your soul will be purified. And you will be able to apprehend things that you can't even imagine. So what a thing to strive for. And it's all within every one of our grasps. So something to think about. And in the next chapter, which is chapter 5, we discuss if this self-accounting process, is it a constant obligation, and at what times are we obliged to perform it? So I look forward to that.